Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Okay, we got a lot to cover. Right now, I was watching them debate this border bill, right, in the Senate. And we got something on Dr. Phil that's absolutely amazing. We're going to get to in a minute and all kinds of things. So don't miss 1 second of this podcast because we had a lot of cool stuff and amazing things we're going to cover. But they're debating this border bill. This is a crazy thing that's going on. And the way that I describe it, I've been describing it this way all week on the last podcast, on the radio and everything else. What Biden and the Democrats are trying to do is legalize illegal immigration, right? Legalize illegal immigration. Remember that. And none of the Republicans that are combating it are really framing it that way. They're saying, well, the 8,500 a day. They're trying to legalize illegal immigration. And that's the way to look at it. And I was watching, and this is where this Dr. Phil story comes in from. Dr. Phil went to the southern border, okay? Mm-hmm. Earlier today, I saw some footage in New York City of the illegals. They were talking about those cops that got beat up. And none of them were Hispanic. They were all African. Yep. And a huge chunk of the illegals that have been shipped to New York City are African. And so these lunatic liberals like AOC who say that the South American illegals are coming through the border, they're climate refugees, which is just nonsense and stupid. Yeah. What's the carbon footprint to come from Africa to Latin America and then up to the United States? And the climate emergency, they say, is in South America. And when Kathy and I, when we were kids, they used to tell us that the rainforest was going to be depleted by the year 2000. The rainforest, I remember this like it was yesterday.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I remember this like it was yesterday when I was in high school. Yeah. They said an area as large as the state of Rhode Island, which is the smallest state, by the way, of the rainforest is permanently destroyed every day. And by the year 2000, so much of the rainforest will have been destroyed that the earth will not be able to properly maintain its oxygen supply for the growing population because the rainforest produces the majority of the oxygen on Earth.
I used to worry about that at night.
It was scary.
Like they told us that all the time.
So that BS never happened. Yeah. So I don't know what climate emergency is going on, but Dr. Phil believes there's a Chinese spy op going on. Listen to this. This is Dr. Phil. Yes. Listen to this. Television personality Dr. Phil appeared on Fox News yesterday to discuss his recent trip to the U.S.-Mexican border, which he says has seen a significant influx of Chinese immigrants, otherwise known as Chinese illegals.
I wonder what prompted him to go down there. I mean, I don't watch his show.
Well, he's a Texas guy.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you remember, he got famous during that Texas beef cattleman trial of Oprah. He was her therapist during that trial. Remember?
That's how he got his show.
And so he's a Texan, and Texas is under attack. Dr. Phil was on Hannity, and Hannity, I must say, I'm not a fan of Fox, and Hannity's got a lot of problems, but, Curtis Lee, for the Guardian Angels, they took down an illegal criminal live on the show yesterday. I don't know if the
show has gotten better. I've seen a few episodes, and I have noticed
he's raised the bar
in Hannity, a change in his personality. I don't know if it's
Trump.
No, I think it's humility. I think he seems, I don't know if it's his relationship with Ainsley. I don't know what it is, but he seems less full of himself lately. He just seems different in a good way. You know what it might be? He moved to Palm Beach up the road from Mar-a-Lago, and he is surrounded by people that are more famous and influential than him. And maybe he, like President Trump. I think it's a religious thing. I think his girlfriend, whatever, is very religious.
Well, they're not married and they're shacking
I know, up. but still, I think he just seems more humble to me, and I think it's more of a religious thing than anything.
Maybe
with him.
So anyway, Dr. Phil told Sean Hannity this is a quote: "We would be incredibly narcissistic to assume that these people are coming here just because they're in the neighborhood. What are they doing?" Dr. Phil says. If they're working in farming, if they're working in industry, I promise you they are expected to do certain things. Are they spying? Because he saw a bunch of Chinese down there, right? Yep. Are they spying? Are they sending seeds back for farming in China? Are they getting plans from industries they're working on? While previously many of the migrants is code word for illegals, causing the U.S. border crisis had come from Central and South America. Now thousands have come from China. Over the 2023 fiscal year, which ended in September, Border Patrol reported 24,048 Chinese were apprehended at the Mexico border. That's just how many they got. That's just a lot. In fact, they apprehended more Chinese citizens last year than the last 10 years before that combined. Okay? That's crazy. Last week, Dr. Phil slammed President Biden's immigration policies for fueling a humanitarian crisis. It goes on and on. More than 6 million illegals have crossed the Texas southern border, Dr. Phil said. That's more than the population of 33 different states in this country. And, the number of Chinese, and there was a group a few weeks ago that were well-dressed like professionals, and they had smart luggage with USB ports and everything that they were walking across the border with. Remember that? Fancy suitcases and everything, so they with electronics and all of this. I've never even heard of smart luggage before. They're obviously spies, and a lot of this Chinese farmland is bought near military posts. Those are spy operations. And with Dr. Phil,
but to what end? You told me you read an article or you said something the other day how China is in trouble and they're economically doing very badly and all this. So it's another another thing with the Russia Cold War. It's all an illusion. So they're not in a position to overtake us or do anything like that, but they're obviously on a mission to weaken us. But to what end do you think? Why do you think they're spying? What are they trying to get and buy all this farmland?
One of the things, they're buying up farmland for a couple of reasons. One, they're spy posts. Many of them are close to U.S. military bases, spy posts. And the Chinese balloon thing that happened last year, the Chinese balloons, they were making updated maps for their missiles, their targeting of the United States. Remember, they went over not just military bases, our most secret military bases with our stealth fighters and bombers, and also our missile silos. So they were updating their maps for their targeting. The spies are coming over here for all of these things. But the reason they're buying up farms other than spy post is these farms they're buying up just like are massive. You can control the economy. Like, for example, if they own a whole bunch of blueberry farms or something, and all of a sudden there's some problem, they didn't fertilize or plant on time, something happens, and all the blueberries die. What impact does that have on the economy?
Well, maybe, or could it possibly be about shipping food over to their country?
It very well could be.
Their people, China, obviously, we know they're starving. They eat things that we don't eat.
That's right.
That you would never eat. And there's definitely a food shortage. They don't have the farming and the land and all the resources that we have at all. So I'm wondering if they're buying up all this farmland and he said taking seeds back. And maybe they're building indoor farms or things like that. Maybe there's a real crisis with food that's gotten worse than we thought, and they're sending
in
food,
America.
They want to send food over there and take our food.
In America, we have the most advanced farming in the world. Okay, I know they want to tell you that Ukraine is the breadbasket of the world. That's all BS. Okay. America has the most advanced farming in the world, and it's very high tech. There's things to steal, but when you control the food supply, you control the country, right? So there's a whole bunch of reasons they're coming here. There's a Trojan horse aspect to it. Look at what happened. You talk about Trojan horses. When Israel was attacked in the beginning of October with the most barbaric attacks we've seen, these were hordes of barbarians on ultralight airplanes, kidnapping women and raping and murdering them. It's god awful. Look at what happened. The Trojan horse of the Muslims that are running our universities that Obama and them have been bringing over here for years and years and years. So these Chinese spies are coming over here illegally, and they're making their way into different aspects of our system where I don't know. One of the things, if you notice, the Democrats have this obsession, and this is very dangerous, of allowing the illegals to join the military. So these Chinese could be getting in our military, and they'll have access to classified material. There's so many things that are going on. I was shocked at how many Chinese and how many African, because when we hear about the border, the southern border, we think of Hispanics mostly. That's what we think.
Right.
And that's just not the case. No. And
not anymore.
This border invasion that's going on is there's not one thing, like the Great Replacement Theory, the Chinese spies. There's not one thing, okay? There's a whole bunch of things. This country is under attack in many different ways, in many different forms. And
so the question is, when these people come into the country, these Chinese people, illegals, and where do they go?
We don't. Who knows?
What's happening? I know some of them are ending up in these cities, and they're ending up in hotels, but they don't track these people. They could just go wander off and hop on a bus.
That's right.
And I'm sure they're coming with money. If they're coming from the Chinese government, they're giving them money to spend. And are they hooking up with people? Is there some kind of network? Is that what Dr. Phil's saying? That there's like some spy network they're getting hooked up into?
Yeah, sure. What the enemies of America's biggest weakness when it comes to these infiltrators, okay? The biggest weakness is our diversity. This country is the most diverse country in the world, ethnically, religiously, and everything. So when people come here from other countries, they can easily blend in because we're so it's harder for us to have American spy operations in China because
they stand out.
There aren't that many white people in China. Okay?
A lot of people say diversity is our strength. Do you don't agree with that?
It's what they use against us after 9/11. The flying imams. If those of you don't remember the flying imams, I'll just tell you real quick. After 9/11, there was a group of imams at an airport waiting to board a plane, and they were imams, so they're wearing traditional Muslim clothing, and they started praying in Arabic at the plane's gate, right? And some of the people waiting to board the plane got nervous because post 9/11.
I remember.
They reported them to the ticket agents who called security. Those imams not only sued the airline, they individually sued people who reported them, passengers. And I talked about this then, all those years ago. The enemies of this country use our diversity against us, and that it's easy to get people in that look different. In other countries, it's not that easy because there's no other country as diverse as ours.
Well, and because everybody's all woke now.
That makes it, yes.
They easily use the excuse of that you're just a bigot.
Yeah.
And that you're racist. That's why you're not letting that happen.
Yeah, and where are they going? Yeah, that's right. These Chinese spies, and why are they letting them here?
So what does he mean? They're taking seeds back, sending seeds back to China.
This is, it's an interesting.
That's the first time I've heard that.
No, this was a thing during the Cold War with Russia. Russian spies were infiltrating U.S. farm labs in this country, trying to get U.S. wheat seeds because there was a wheat problem in Russia.
That's what I'm saying. So there's like a food shortage.
We have super seeds in this country. We have part of the advanced farming. I don't know a lot about farming, guys. I just know a little of these things that have come up with in foreign policy things over the years. We have the most advanced farming, and part of that advanced farming is we have the most advanced seeds.
So this is their way around trading and buying goods. Is they come over here and steal the technology.
That's what China steals everything.
And steal the seeds and the technology instead of buying the goods and doing it legally. Like, they'd buy beef or wheat or whatever, which Trump was getting done. He said China was buying a bunch of beef and the beef farmers are making a ton of money and this and that. Instead of buying it, doing it that way, which is the way you're supposed to, they're sneaking in and stealing the farm. See, I never heard of such a thing. It's like farming espionage.
This went on during the 70s and 80s with the Soviets and this country. And the thing about these Chinese spies coming across, there's a loophole that the illegals are using. If you say you're from Venezuela or Cuba, you get asylum because those are communist countries, and which is wrong. That's got to stop. How do you know they're from Venezuela or Cuba? Because they say so. So what are these Chinese and African people saying? They're not from Venezuela.
Well, you told me earlier AOC, or what you said, AOC says this is they're using climate change.
Climate
as
refugees.
An excuse. See, climate change is a lie. And it's a lie because they can use it as an excuse for many things.
Pretty much everything.
They can't tell you what's really going on. So they use this as their excuse for why it's happening. And liberals just eat it up and they're like, oh, okay. Well, then let them all in. You know, if let me tell you, Africa has had problems with rain and lack of rain and droughts since the beginning of time. I mean, this isn't anything new. You know, Israel is not that far from Africa. They have the same, you know, in biblical times, they had droughts and they had problems with rain, and they're near the desert. I mean, this is nothing new here. It doesn't rain that much in California either. I mean, that's just the way the earth is. It's not climate change. There's just certain climates that are more inhabitable than others. You know, and some parts of Africa have very little rainfall. Well, they that's say, just the climate. I mean, it's just the way it's always been.
AOC says they're climate refugees from South America, so that would not apply to the.
So what's her excuse for the Chinese and the Africans?
She hasn't given an excuse.
I'm sure she'll come up with something.
Now, the Drudge Report, their headline right now says "MAGA down." MAGA down.
Oh my gosh!
And now, first of all, this is a stupid comment because Trump's more popular than the man ever has been and is winning all over the place. I mean, he won in Nevada where he wasn't even on the ballot against Nikki Haley yesterday. And it's a picture of Trump with Ronna McDaniel. It says, MAGA down, RNC chair out. Ronna McDaniel being out is a victory for Trump.
Yeah, she's not MAGA.
We don't know 100% at this second who's going to replace her. All the reporting says the deputy chair of the RNC is going to be promoted. I don't know much about them. Ronna McDaniel being out is President Trump taking over the RNC. The RNC is broke, and they're broke because everyone's donating money to President Trump directly at donaldjtrump.com and bypassing the RNC, which shows you something.
That's right.
These big fat cat donors aren't as influential as you think because the individual donors, like regular people like me and you guys, we're not donors, but those, you know, like regular people that would donate, we're not donors.
But we make up for it in volume.
Yeah, exactly. But Donald Trump, you know, when he left the White House, they tried to get him to start a third party, a MAGA party. He says, no, we're going to take back the Republican Party. This is one of the biggest victories Trump has had in a long time. He has now officially gotten rid of Mitt Romney's niece from running the RNC, and he has officially taken over the RNC. And the Drudge Report, which used to be a great place for news, is just as bad, if not worse, than MSNBC. It's worse in the way that we don't know who's behind the Drudge Report anymore. It's not Matt Drudge. And this story here, MAGA down, RNC chair out, that's a victory. You know, even Maria Bartiromo didn't get this. When Bartiromo interviewed Trump over the weekend, she says, well, the RNC's broke and they've defaulted on loan. And she's a money person.
He said what we've said. He said, yeah, because they're all donating to me.
Yeah. And
people know the RNC are full of rhinos. Yeah. And they're not. And I don't think this is a problem.
You might as well give to Planned Parenthood.
I don't think this is a problem that'll get resolved unless you get somebody in there like Vivek, Don Jr., which is probably not going to happen. Somebody that's extremely pro-Trump that people at least perceive as very pro-Trump, but that Trump endorses. You're not going to get that money flowing back in as long as you have somebody connected to like Mitt Romney.
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Exactly. Now, listen, guys, the free shipping on all MyPillow products with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, is still in place site-wide at MyPillow.com. Whatever you buy at MyPillow.com, you get the special deal and free shipping with our promo code Kane. As an example, the MyPillow 2.0 with temperature regulating technology that Kathy and I sleep on every night is 50% off right now. So with our promo code Kane, you get 50% off and free shipping. That's site-wide. You get the special and free shipping, no matter how big the purchase, no matter how small. And that adds up to a lot of savings. And Mike Lindell is offering this to you and this audience because he's just been canceled by Fox News, and that's a big hit to his advertising. And you and this audience across all the platforms that I communicate with you on have been very loyal to him. And this free shipping offer is not being offered to everybody. They offered it to you guys through us.
Yeah, and if we're keeping his business afloat, and if if you have bought all the products you need, then you can always buy more. But think of other people in your life that could use, if there's a birthday coming up, a wedding coming up, baby shower.
Yeah.
You can buy something he has so many products there. You could buy something for everybody. And I think with the free shipping, it's right now the best time, because we don't know how long that'll last.
No, we don't.
To get like the mattress topper or the things like you said that do cost a lot to ship, because normally you got to pay for that shipping. Mm-hmm. I mean, we got our mattress topper. It was like $50, I think, to ship it. They would charge you for that. That's free now. So now is the time to load up, because linens are not light. If you buy a bunch of sheets and towels, those are heavy. I know when we get just our sheets, just the one pack of sheets, that's a good 10, 12 pounds.
Easily.
So if you want to load up on that free shipping, I would take advantage of that now.
Promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com. We're going to take a break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will be back right after this.
In today's world, being secure and safeguarding yourself, your home, your business, and most importantly, your family is more important than ever. District 35 Security and Investigations is your trusted partner when it comes to comprehensive crime prevention and investigative services. Founded in 2017 by the Taylor family and rooted in 40 years of experience, District 35 Security and Investigations are dedicated to offering tailored solutions that meet your unique needs. They specialize in both civil and criminal investigations. Their team employs extensive expertise and cutting-edge resources to deliver thorough, meticulous investigative solutions. They also provide a diverse range of security services, including risk assessment, security consulting, and specialized training programs that are all designed to enhance your safety and your peace of mind. They've played a pivotal role in deterring crime, safeguarding properties, and instilling a sense of security with their clients. District 35 Security and Investigations is licensed to operate in all 254 Texas counties. Whether you're seeking to protect your family, your business, or your property, their team is here to offer the peace of mind that you deserve. Take charge of your security and contact them right now online at district35-securityinvestigations-llc.us or call them directly 512-216-6211. That's 512-216-6211. District 35 Security and Investigations. Your safety is their mission. How would you like to say goodbye to your 9-to-5 job and that time clock? You can. You just need the right help and advice. And that's what you will find in the book, How to Make 8 to 10K a Month Selling Cars with No Money Down. Available online at ShowtimeAutoEbook.gumroad.com and on Instagram at Showdom215. This book will teach you how to become a successful auto broker. It shares the secrets to building a lucrative brand and reputation in the auto industry. It will teach you how to connect buyers with sellers. You will master the art of negotiation, learn how to leverage dealership relationships so that you can earn profits and absolutely no money down. You'll learn everything from the basics of the auto broker business to selling cars online and how to use social media to your advantage. With detailed insights on different car dealers, what to expect in the industry, and the potential profits that you can earn, this book is your first step to financial freedom. The knowledge you'll gain will set you on a path to success without the need for that initial capital. Are you ready to change your life and start working for yourself? Then order your copy of How to Make 8 to 10K a Month Selling Cars with No Money Down online at ShowtimeAutoEbook.gumroad.com and on Instagram at Showdom215. Order your copy now and start living the life that you and your family have dreamed of. ShowtimeAutoEbook.gumroad.com. Fashionistas, it's time to redefine your wardrobe with fashion that speaks to your soul with VirtueVersatile.com. VirtueVersatile.com is your ultimate online destination for fashion that marries style with versatility. Their fashion is a declaration of your strength and your style and captures the very essence of the most modern trends. VirtueVersatile.com offer free shipping on all orders and on-time delivery. Their fashion and accessories will adapt adapt to your lifestyle. Whether you're channeling casual chic for the day or stepping into an elevated elegance for that special occasion, their selection will align perfectly with any event and every woman. Unleash your style right now with VirtueVersatile.com. VirtueVersatile.com believe in empowering you with fashion that's as versatile and dynamic as you are. VirtueVersatile.com. Style that moves you. Fitness that defines you. VirtueVersatile.com. Start shopping right now.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. So we've been waiting now for 2 days for the Putin interview that Tucker Carlson did to drop. Tucker released a short video yesterday talking about why he was interviewing Putin, which was very good. I did a YouTube video on that. But we still, at the moment I am speaking to you, the interview has not been released yet. That could change. By the time you're listening to this in 10 minutes, it could be out there. We don't know when it's going to drop.
He needs to release it soon because I'm worried that the powers that be are going to do something to keep this from being uploaded. I mean, you know what I mean? Like somebody on the internet is going to stop this from happening. I mean, why hasn't it been uploaded yet?
I have not heard anything about him leaving Russia. He might be doing a few things in Russia, like interviewing Snowden maybe or something. I don't know. And maybe he wants to be home before the interview drops because maybe he's afraid he won't be allowed back in. Listen to this. This is in.
I hope they let him back in. I mean, I know Charlie Chaplin, they didn't let him back in the country, but he wasn't a U.S. citizen, I don't think.
Now, this is,
Tucker is, obviously.
This is in Breitbart. EU politicians threaten to sanction Tucker Carlson for interviewing Putin. It says here, despite the longstanding tradition of American journalists interviewing dictators of all stripes, including a leader of the Soviet Union during the height of the Cold War, top bureaucrat Guy Verhofstadt has, these are the people that brought us the Inquisition, the Plague, and 2 world wars and the Holocaust in Europe. He's called for Tucker Carlson to face EU sanctions for sitting down with Putin. He's the former Belgian prime minister.
Well, who cares?
Give me a break. We're gonna.
I don't know, but do you think this could?
He opposed.
Make something happen?
He opposed Brexit, and and it goes on. See, guys. When this interview, the reason that I think we haven't seen it is what I just told Kathy. I think he wants to be back home in America before it's released. I think
that would be smart. Well, I think he needs to get back here.
But the thing about it that I wonder, I think he's got to upload it before he leaves the country. Customs might take the interview. Like if he's got the interview on his equipment, on his devices, and he re-enters the country, U.S. Customs might take it.
This is crazy.
And
so many things can happen right now.
Well, Tucker, this is really an amazing thing. The media still are going after Tucker for doing this interview. When CNN interviewed bin Laden and all the dictators, that's okay. And now somehow they think Tucker Carlson has committed treason by interviewing Putin. This isn't Hitler in 1943 or 44 that he's interviewing. It's Putin.
But even if they did interview Hitler, that would be okay too, wouldn't it? I mean, aren't journalists allowed? Well, it's just an interview. Just because you interview somebody doesn't mean that you agree with them or that you think what they're doing is okay. I mean, don't you think it would have been interesting if an American journalist had interviewed Hitler? Did that ever happen? Do you think it would have been an interesting interview? To at least see his...
I can't say
not that you agree with him, but...
I can't say that it never happened. He may have been interviewed like prior to being chancellor, when he was around. I don't know. I've never read anything about him being interviewed by an American journalist. But, the thing about Tucker and...
You don't want to compare Putin to Hitler. I don't know that much about Putin, but I don't think he's Hitler.
What I mean is we are not at war with Russia.
Right.
Okay? We are not at war with Russia. But, the media reaction to this Putin interview that no one's ever seen, we haven't seen yet. It's really interesting. It tells you that now the media are gone. I haven't seen in the mainstream media one person defend him doing the interview. This is what journalists do.
That's not going to happen.
I haven't seen one.
They're not going to.
And it tells you that it is because
they see him as a sinking ship and they don't want to be on the Titanic.
I've seen,
you know what I'm saying? Since
television journalism has been a thing, since there's been TV news, whoever the controversial people are of the day have been interviewed, right? They used to do news pieces on Sean Penn was the one I was talking about the other day, went to see El Chapo. Right? Sean Penn went to see Saddam Hussein.
What is it with
remember
Sean
that?
Penn?
Before the war, he went over there. And there's
a weirdo.
all these weird things, that Chavez, they were all going down to Chavez. Castro, at the height of his killing and everything, they'd all run down there to interview.
Yeah, remember
him.
Barbara Walters interviewed him.
And Oliver Stone.
That was a big famous interview that she did. Did she get in trouble?
Exactly.
I mean, he was a dictator.
Exactly. Geraldo went and did a big interview with Charles Manson.
And that was after the Bay of Pigs.
Yeah. So I don't understand why all of a sudden it's some type of treason to interview dictators.
It's not, and we know it. They're going after Tucker.
Well,
that's what it is. They want to stop him. He's a threat. He's revealing things they don't want him to reveal. He's uncontrollable.
Yeah.
And this is all about taking Tucker down. And I got to tell you, I would not be surprised I don't know if they could do this. I mean, like I said, the FBI kept Charlie Chaplin from coming back, but he was not an American citizen as far as I know. I think he was still a British citizen. So he was not, when he went back home to England, I read his autobiography. He was, they told him, you're not allowed to come back.
That's different. He had a visa.
Right.
They take the visa away.
So
it's not the same with Tucker.
What can they do?
Nothing.
Like we were watching The Quartering and he speculated, can they
YouTube.
keep him from coming back into the country? Can they do something where they deem him, label him something as a threat or something, and they something where they don't let him in through customs?
Jane Fonda went to North Vietnam.
I know,
during
but
the war.
She's a liberal.
She sat on one of their anti-aircraft guns. She went to the Hanoi Hilton. She got some of our Americans tortured.
Yep.
Jane Fonda, and there will be people who tell me in the comments on YouTube that this is not true, but it is true. When Jane Fonda visited the American POWs in Vietnam, some of them gave her their social security numbers, snuck them to her so that they could let people know at home that they were alive. She gave them to the commandant and they got tortured.
Oh, I totally believe that.
So, and then she went on to get like an Oscar.
Yeah.
Right? After that, she got an Oscar. She still made movies. She came back and had their biggest hits after that.
Well, I know you hate this question.
And that was a real war that we were in.
I know you hate this question, but what do you think's going to happen with Tucker? What do you think's going to play? How's it going to play
He's going to become bigger than ever because what the media, there's two things that this has really shown with the media. One, that they're completely state controlled by the deep state and the government, that they're not independent. And the other, and so that's good. And the other thing that this Tucker Putin thing is going to do is further make what formerly was the mainstream media, which when I talk about mainstream media today, I'm mainly talking about cable news, Fox. They're going to be even more relevant than ever.
Well, what does this guy mean by sanction? How do you sanction
a person?
A private person?
You seize their bank accounts.
Oh my
You
gosh.
forbid them from traveling to Europe. He's always going to Europe, right?
Can
Tucker?
people in this country do that to him? I mean, they just had that lady, the head of Yellen, who would not admit that they were sneaking into people's bank accounts after January 6th to see if they bought things from Bass Pro Shops and Dick's Sporting Goods.
Exactly.
And she wouldn't admit it, but they're saying that the government was checking in and working with banks.
Yeah.
So, and we know that they've stopped doing business, some banks with Trump, with Laura Loomer, that banks have gotten political. So do you think I could see this happening where he starts to get canceled now?
Yeah, Laura Loomer.
I could see that happening.
Laura Loomer, this is crazy. She's been banned from Uber and Lyft, Uber Eats. She can't even order food, Laura Loomer.
I could see this stuff happening to Tucker, can't you?
It's really crazy. And I'm not going to tell you guys how she gets around, okay? Because it's very hard for her to function in the modern world.
Yeah.
But, some of the time, I don't want to say how she gets around other than this. Some of the time, it's involved me giving her a ride. I've had to go pick her up and drive her places because she can't get an Uber or a Lyft or an Uber. It's crazy. They could do stuff like that to Tucker, and Tucker goes to Europe all the time. So the EU could ban him from traveling to Europe.
Yeah,
there's all kinds of things.
So he might do it where Who's that one guy, Savage, that's not allowed in London?
Michael Savage isn't allowed in England.
So
the
they might collectively, the European Dominion or whatever group, whatever EU, they could collectively ban him from traveling there. To Europe, then.
Yes.
So they could do something.
They could
in that regard.
Yeah.
And I could see bank accounts here, banks saying they're not going to work with him anymore. They're not going to.
Look at that. Mike Lindell got canceled by his bank, and others have.
That's exactly right. I totally see that coming.
They could definitely do it.
Did Trump say that it's time to forgive Bud Light?
Yes.
Somebody. Then what do you think about that?
I don't know.
Do you think he should have said that?
I did not follow exactly what
Let me try to find it.
Said with that. Yeah. What Trump said. I'll just tell you what he said here. I want to get his words exact. Okay. This was yesterday.
Yeah, I know they've got a whole bunch of new ads.
Trump said that Anheuser-Busch is not a woke company, okay, and perhaps deserves a second chance. See, this is what happened with Anheuser-Busch, okay? And I'm not a Bud Light fan, okay? I'm not a Bud Light fan. And I'm not saying we should go back to Bud Light or anything. But what President Trump is saying is what happened with Bud Light, and this is Budweiser's fault. They did this crap. What happened with Anheuser-Busch is they have some stupid young girl in charge of their social media wing of their marketing and hired this weirdo to do this thing and did this destruction to the company. Okay? I mean, you can't let kids, these woke kids, run any part of your operation. This is what happened.
What I think he's saying is it's an old American company and the company itself is not woke. In fact, the CEO, I think, came out and said that, he didn't agree with what she did or something, but they never really came out and apologized to their base or whatever. But I kind of agree with what he's saying. I don't think the decision by one person in a company should destroy a whole company. I mean, you know what I mean? Obviously, Bush was in charge. Anheuser-Busch was in charge. They hired her, and the buck stops with them. And I think they could have handled it differently because afterwards they tried to go full on gay, and they were sponsoring gay pride parades for a while. And I think they realized, gays don't drink beer.
You know what?
Gay men, they drink like champagne and stuff or whatever, or cosmopolitans.
I don't know.
And they realized we're not making any money here. So now they've got new ads with Peyton Manning, who everybody loves, Emmett Smith, who's awesome. And they hired a new comedian who is known for telling anti-gay jokes. So they've gone totally the other way. So look, Americans are forgiving people. And I agree with Trump. If you drink Bud Light, if you like Bud Light, they're clearly trying to make amends. And I think it is okay to say, all right, we'll forgive you.
Well, that's not what Trump said. He said perhaps, so maybe. He didn't say, he said perhaps, which would be maybe.
It is an old American company.
The thing with Bud Light is they
have a lot of employees.
Bud Light owes an apology
I agree.
To this country.
That's what's been missing.
Let me tell you. There's not a man in America who didn't grow up having a Budweiser, okay? And they own almost every major type of beer, okay? Yeah. So if they need to come out and apologize, and then maybe, okay?
Yeah, that's what's been missing, I think, is there was no apology.
And this thing with Peyton Manning, they must be paying him a boatload of money to be a spokesperson for Bud Light.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, it's got to be enough money where that's a risky thing for him to do.
Oh, yeah, there's a really good commercial with him.
I think
it's with Emmett Smith, who by the way, played at Florida when my brother was there, Emmett Smith, and at U of F. And so I've known about Emmett Smith for a long time. Then he went on, I think, to play for the Cowboys. But they have a commercial, and Peyton Manning is extremely popular. And he is not a political guy. In fact, he hosts the Country Music Awards. So he's probably more seen as a conservative type of person. So I think, people have to make this decision on their own. I hate to see a company that's an American company that hires
I'm going to disagree with you. If Trump says forgive them, I'll do whatever Trump says. But I'll tell you this about this Bud Light thing, okay? There is a big move with this trans thing is still being pushed.
Yeah.
And if Bud Light is, okay, we forgive you and we'll go back to, what does that send to the trans? This trans thing is just stupid.
Well, don't you think it's kind of dying off a little bit?
No. They're putting tampon machines in boys' restrooms in public school. So it's not dying down
at all.
It's just not getting the publicity. They're doing it stealthily.
It seems though like these companies are not embracing it like they were a year ago. It seems like that trend has faded away. Let's see with the Super Bowl commercials, because the Super Bowl commercials are like really big.
Everything I've said, because there's been previews of the Super Bowl commercial, says there's nothing woke in the commercials.
Well, there you go. And that tells me that the things are shifting, because those are the creme de la creme of commercials. I mean, they even have Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer doing an ad from Friends, which is I want to see. I like the commercials. I watch the Super Bowl every year. Brian doesn't care, but I like it. And I think if there are no woke ads, I think that shows that the trend is shifting away from that. And when was the last time you heard about Dylan Mulvaney? I mean, you know what I mean? I just feel like outside of TikTok and maybe even TikTok, it's dying down. I feel like that trend is dying down a little bit.
I don't know.
With companies at least.
But like I said, if Trump says forgive them, I'll do whatever Trump says. But
you're not going to go out and buy because you don't like Bud Light anyway.
Well, he didn't say that to forgive them. He didn't say give. No, I don't like Bud Light.
But
he
said maybe give them a chance, another chance.
If Trump gives them a chance, we got to do whatever Trump tells us. But he didn't say do that yet. He said perhaps.
Well, Trump doesn't drink beer. We know that he doesn't drink alcohol. So you're not going to see him drinking one anytime soon.
And he's not a promoter of alcohol.
No, just the opposite.
And he fired Kim Kardashian's sister Courtney off The Apprentice because he found out she had a DUI. Remember that?
It was Courtney or Chloe.
One of her sisters. He didn't think that was a good role model to have on his show, and he fired her for it off The Apprentice.
Yeah,
and Bud Light taste it's awful. It's just awful.
I don't like beer.
It's not. It's a tasteless.
Tell us what you guys think. If you are a Bud Light fan, maybe you stop, or maybe just a Budweiser fan. Do you think that they have made enough amends for you? Clearly they've made a major shift.
The brand is damaged. It's damaged beyond repair, Bud Light.
Really? So there's no... Well, see, that to me...
The guys aren't going to go out and buy Bud Light.
When you say that to me is what's wrong with the country.
Guys don't want people to think they're gay walking out with a six-pack of Bud Light.
That is part of what's wrong with this country, is the cancel culture where there's no forgiveness. There's no retribution. It's like you do something wrong and
Kathy,
you're done forever.
If you pull up to... I was at a gas station a few months ago getting gas, Wawa, here in Florida, and a guy came out with a case of Bud Light. Everybody, including me, is like, oh, that guy's gay.
No, I understand.
So guys aren't going to go buy Bud Light.
But you don't think, but when you're saying their damage is irreparably damaged,
I mean, who else would buy
beyond repair? But you're harping on this gay thing.
Well, that's guys that drink beer don't want.
Else.
It's the same thing.
Just forget it,
Kathy. It's the same
We're
thing.
going in circles here.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not. I'm asking you. Are you part of the unforgiving cancel culture when you refuse to accept a company trying to make amends and say we screwed up?
But they haven't
sorry.
said that. They haven't said that.
But they're doing it. They're making obvious changes.
They're afraid to apologize.
And you said yourself it was just this one girl who did this. Why should it malign the entire company?
If they were to come out and say we screwed up, we let this idiot girl run our social media marketing campaign.
Didn't he kind of say that?
And she destroyed this longtime American brand. Right. Please forgive us. Drink our beer.
And if they fired her,
and on Tuesday, Bud Light will be free or cost or whatever. Like this, when I saw
that would have been a good idea.
When I saw this guy walk out of the gas station convenience store with a case of Bud Light, I thought this guy. He's got to be trying to make a point.
Let me ask you, because I don't drink beer. It was
so bizarre.
But you drink beer sometimes. Are guys loyal to their beer though? Like if they like a certain beer, that seems to me like that's how guys are.
The younger guy, like if I go to the liquor store now and you go to the beer section, these young guys now, these millennials and Gen Zers that aren't very manly, they're into all these craft beers that are just not even real beers. They don't drink man's beers.
Okay, but I'm speaking about guys your age, like. From our generation.
Yeah, I'm loyal. Like I'm loyal to mine.
Guys are loyal to their beer, aren't they?
Yeah,
I know my dad drinks El Presidente beer. That's all he drinks.
There's two beers that I drink. Okay, it depends on where I am. I do like Guinness. Okay.
Yeah, you do like Guinness.
But my beer of choice has always been Michelob.
Michelob, yeah.
And I drank Michelob when I was like in high school, right? So
you're loyal to that.
And before high school too, quite frankly, because my dad always had Michelob, and I would drink Michelob when I was out fishing with my dad. When I was like,
I mean, people that smoke, they smoke the same cigarette. They don't switch brands.
Yeah, till death.
They smoke Marlboro Lights or Cools or. Yeah. They smoke this. You said your dad smoked Cools. That was his brand.
I don't know if they'd still make them.
People are loyal to their brand. So I think people that do like Bud Light.
There's really not a Bud Light fan base. Bud Light.
Come on, really?
Nah, to me, Bud Light, there are people that will, regular Bud's different. Bud Light is kind of like when you go to, you go to a bar and they got it on tap or something, or you get a Bud Light. People, there aren't people, Bud Light tastes like water.
So there's no loyalty base for Bud Light.
Certainly not now, but no, not really. It's not one of those beers, And even Michelob, I never liked it. About 20, 25 years ago, they changed their bottles.
Is Budweiser even good?
And I got really upset with Michelob when they changed their bottles. They used to have these really cool bottles, and the bottles they have now that they've had like 20, 25 years. People are loyal to their brands, but no, you have to, like when Coke came out with New Coke.
Yes.
They apologized for it.
That's true. And they even said we screwed up.
They said we screwed up, and it tasted almost as bad as Pepsi.
Yeah, it did. I don't like Pepsi.
But Coke apologized
right away
for doing it. And Budweiser needs to apologize. Now, listen, we're going to take our break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. Let us know what you think in the comments. Trump did not say give them a second chance.
Yeah, well, but what did he say again? Remind me what he said exactly again.
He said maybe.
Well, that's saying something.
Maybe. He said maybe. All right, listen, we're going to take our break. Let us know what you think in the comments. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
The new sci-fi novel from author Tony Travis is now available on Amazon. Keyholes. Keyholes is a journey of discovery. Meet Dr. Alan Messman and his brother Colonel Bryce Messman as they uncover a groundbreaking revelation, a mysterious portal influenced by quantum effects on photons. Join their team on a quest to unravel the secrets hidden behind the keyhole. What lies beyond? A passage to the past, an alternate world, or something beyond our wildest imaginations? Find out when you read Keyholes from author Tony Travis. Follow their journey as it challenges the very nature of reality, intertwining cosmic mysteries with a deep exploration of identity and existence. Every page is a gateway to another layer of mystery, leading to a climax that will leave you questioning the very fabric of our universe. Order your copy of Keyholes from author Tony Travis on Amazon. Available in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. Keyholes from author Tony Travis on Amazon. How would you like to make your home stand out above the rest? You can with the elegance of Moroccan craftsmanship at The Brass Designs on Etsy.com. The Brass Designs on Etsy is a distinguished cooperative bringing the beauty of handmade brass and copper crafts directly into your home. They specialize in kitchen and bathroom fixtures, indoor and outdoor shower systems, and unique accessories. The Brass Designs have over 14 years of experience in their local market with a team of over 20 skilled artisans, ensuring that each piece is meticulously handcrafted for lasting quality and beauty. From sleek kitchen faucets to exquisite copper and brass bathtubs, every product comes with a 10-year warranty. And as Etsy star sellers, they pride themselves on their exceptional product quality, customer service, and reliable shipping. They've built long-term partnerships with numerous U.S.-based interior designers, redefining home aesthetics with a blend of traditional artistry, premium quality, and unrivaled reliability. The range of items for the entire home include kitchen sink faucets, outdoor copper shower heads, stylish soap dispensers, decorative hanging pots, and so much more. Visit the shop right now on Etsy, etsy.com/shop/The Brass Designs. View their inventory. You will be impressed. Experience the blend of Moroccan tradition and modern design, elevating your home with The Brass Designs on Etsy, where art meets functionality. Etsy.com/shop/The Brass Designs. Imagine a night under the stars, not just anywhere, but inside a cozy UFO. That's right, a UFO, where science fiction becomes your reality. That's the Galactic Getaway. It's an extraordinary escape that offers an experience truly not of this world. The Galactic Getaway isn't just a theme room, it's an actual UFO that's been designed to whisk you away on a cosmic adventure. Sleep in the bedroom of a spaceship with panoramic windows that give you views of the night sky, making you feel as if you're on the brink of exploring our universe. There's also a fire pit patio under the sky. It's the ultimate blend of exploration and relaxation. Then explore Hangar 18, where reality and imagination meet. You'll be surrounded by life-sized alien replicas and models of spacecraft as you're transported to the furthest reaches of the galaxy. The overnight UFO experience is landing soon. Don't miss your chance to be among the very first to embark on this interstellar journey. Sign up for a first encounter online at stay-in-a-ufo.com and on Instagram at Galactic Getaway UFO. The Galactic Getaway awaits, where every night is a journey beyond the stars. Online at stay-in-a-ufo.com. Sign up now.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. A little while ago, Cat Turd retweeted something that Juanita Broderick posted on Twitter. And Juanita Broderick, of course, was the woman who was twice raped by President Clinton, okay? And Cat Turd, everybody knows Cat Turd. And Cat Turd retweeted this, so I think this is a credible story. According to this document that's in Ukrainian that Juanita Broderick posted to X, Zelensky has put Tucker Carlson on a kill list for interviewing Putin. This is Cat Turd just about an hour and a half ago retweeted this, that Zelensky put Tucker Carlson on a kill list for interviewing Putin.
Is he just joking, or how would he know that? He does know Tucker. He was interviewed by him a couple weeks ago.
That's right. Cat Turd is friends with Tucker Carlson. So what my guess would be,
oh boy.
Now I don't know, okay? And I'll tell you something about Cat Turd, by the way. Cat Turd wrote a novel that is very, very good that I bought, I don't know, a couple years ago, maybe a year and a half ago or something. And Cat Turd's very famous. And this was, I don't know, about a year and a half ago, maybe a little longer. Yeah. And we ordered it, and the book didn't come. And I didn't even think about it. And Cat Turd contacted me personally without me even reaching out, asking me if I got the book.
Yeah.
And I said no. And Cat Turd sent me a book immediately. I got it the next day. I didn't reach out and say, hey, I didn't get my book. Cat Turd contacted me personally and said, hey, Brian, did you get my book? I said no. It hasn't come yet. And he said, I'm going to send you one out right now. So Cat Turd's a pretty stand-up guy. I was pretty impressed by that. But this thing about the kill list, if that story, my guess would be that when Cat Turd saw that, Cat Turd called Tucker on his cell phone and said, hey, is this true? Before he retweeted that. That would be my guess.
What is he retweeting?
What I said, Juanita Broderick tweeted a document written in Ukrainian of Zelensky putting Tucker Carlson on kill list. I don't know if it is true or not, okay? I'm just seeing Cat Turd retweeted this, and Cat Turd is credible. So I don't see any other reporting on it yet. This is something that's new. It is something that's breaking, along with the sanctions story that we're talking about is starting to pick up. I do want to I just saw this on X, okay? They got me calling it X finally. Johnny MAGA on X posted what President Trump said about Bud Light. So I want to read President Trump's exact words on Bud Light. Okay.
Yeah. See, it's becoming a thing now.
So let me read this to you guys, and because I have not read this yet. All I see is Bud Lights in the first sentence. Okay, and Johnny Maga tweeted, picking up a case of Bud Light after work, Johnny Maga tweeted. And then he put a screenshot of Donald Trump's post to Truth Social about this. This is Donald Trump's own words. It's a screenshot, and you can look up Johnny Maga. And I still haven't read what President Trump said in this, so I'm going to read it with you. The Bud Light ad was a mistake of epic proportions, and for that, a very big price was paid. But Anheuser-Busch is not a woke company. But I can give you plenty that are. Am building a list and might just release it for the world to see. Why not? The radical left does it viciously to well-run conservative companies and people. Yeah, look, we're talking about with Mike Lindell, right?
Yep.
The radical, I lost my place. Very nasty, President Trump said, but it's the way they play the game. On the other hand, Anheuser-Busch spends $700 million a year with our great farmers, the barley and all that, employs 65,000 Americans, of which 1,500 are veterans. And I wonder if that 65,000 includes the local people that vendors and stuff. It may not even include them, and the bartenders certainly do. And Anheuser-Busch, and is a founding corporate partner of Folds of Honor, which provides scholarships for families of fallen servicemen and women. They've raised over $30 million and given 44,000 scholarships. Anheuser-Busch is a great American brand that perhaps deserves a second chance. What do you think? Perhaps instead, we should be going after those companies that are looking to destroy America. That's what President Trump, that's his statement.
So here's my thought on that. If people go out and start buying Bud Light again, it'll show the power of Trump and the influence of Trump.
Well, wait a minute.
And how he can save a company.
Bud Light is only one of many beers that Anheuser-Busch
I know, but if you specifically buy Bud Light and their sales start to go up, people will know that it's correlated with Trump saying that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, you could buy another Anheuser-Busch beer if you wanted. You don't have to buy.
No. It has to be Bud Light specifically because that's. I know what you're saying, but Bud Light is the one that took the hit and is the advertising that went with it, Dylan Mulvaney. So I know what you're saying, but people, I think it'd be more poignant if you bought Bud Light.
Well, let us know in the comments, guys, what you think of what President Trump just said.
Well, this is what I was talking about with cancel culture. I don't like to be a part of that, but we all are in one way or another. And Republicans and MAGA are participate in cancel culture too. And the problem with cancel culture is there's no redemption. It's like you cancel somebody and boom, that's it. You write them off and you're done with them. And I don't like to see an American company. I didn't realize they did all those good things. That's been around a long time, that employs 65,000 Americans and this and that. I don't want to see them have financial trouble. And let me tell you, if Trump said that, that tells me that the CEO reached out to Trump personally and asked him to do that. Because obviously they've taken a huge hit and they're probably friends. And he probably called Trump directly and asked him to say something.
When I see, one of the things I do when I see something, like he says 65,000 employees. And again, I don't know if that includes and it probably doesn't, local vendors
a lot.
And stuff. That's 65,000 families.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And you got to multiply that by 3 or 4 for how many people, right. It's a lot of people, a lot of Americans. And what he said about the farmers, that's something that I don't think any of us have considered.
So go back to buying Budweiser.
Well, I'll tell you that this is a little different. It's a little different of an issue. But I remember when the Exxon Valdez, we talked about this when the Bud Light thing first happened. When the Exxon Valdez in the 80s, they had a drunken captain. He beached his tanker, and all that oil from the Exxon Valdez was all over Alaska. And liberals wanted to protest Exxon gas stations, and conservatives at that time says those local Exxon gas stations are owned by local franchise owners. You're hurting them, not Exxon.
Right.
That's ridiculous and stupid, and it's true. So, like I said, I will always follow what President Trump says. So President Trump
is kind of saying, give them another chance.
I think he's saying
him again. Yeah,
I think he's saying it.
Basically.
Well, I remember when Hobby Lobby, which I love Hobby Lobby. We go to Hobby Lobby. I'm not even in the arts and crafts and stuff, but I like Hobby Lobby. And one thing I like about Hobby Lobby, as opposed to Michael's, it's so neat and organized.
Oh yeah,
Hobby Lobby is just a mess.
We buy a lot of Christmas stuff there.
Yeah, you go to Michael's, everything's a mess. There's glitter everywhere. Yeah. Nothing's organized. But when Hobby Lobby was standing up against Obamacare because they were mandating abortion coverage, they were opening up a Hobby Lobby in a rundown shopping center where there was an old Kmart in Democrat Debbie Wasserman Schultz's congressional district here in South Florida. And she was the head of the DNC at the time. And she went out and protested against Hobby Lobby opening up a condemned shopping center in her own district. And I thought, when have you seen a member of Congress go out and try to stop a company from
AOC with Amazon?
This was before AOC.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
this was
apparently they do it all the time.
So to go out like Debbie to tell a company, don't provide jobs to my constituents, and then AOC did it years later with Amazon in New York is stupid. So President Trump's running for president again, and when there's a company that's employing tens of thousands of Americans, supporting perhaps hundreds of thousands of families directly and indirectly, does it make sense because you add in the farmers and everything else, the truck drivers, all this stuff. Does it make sense to try to put a company out of business that's almost 100% American in its employment?
No.
I don't know about that. That doesn't sound too smart.
I don't think one mistake. Most MAGA are Christian. We're supposed to be forgiving, and when people and they're obviously trying to rectify things, the company, by going the total opposite direction. So if you were a Budweiser drinker, I think it's time to start buying it again. You have Trump's stamp of approval. Clearly, he's trying to save this company. It's important to him.
He's trying to save the workers.
And the workers who probably, a lot of them vote for him, and save the jobs. And I think if you buy Budweiser and you've been boycotting them, I think it's time to go out this weekend and buy some. And Trump is basically saying, give him another chance. And it's you can't. We made our point. I mean, you know what I mean? MAGA and the conservatives of the country definitely made a point. You got an entire company to change gears. They are pouring a ton of money into these commercials. Let me tell you, Peyton Manning and Emmitt Smith, those guys don't come cheap.
Yeah.
And this commercial I saw with them is good. And it's a funny commercial, and they are spending a lot of money. And they hired this new comedian that makes fun of gays. I mean, they are spending a lot of money trying to win you back. And they're trying to make amends. So I think, like Trump said, give them another chance. And I think it's time to do that.
Well, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you so much, guys. And remember, those of you that are Patreon supporters, make sure you check back often with the Patreon page. There's exclusive content Kathy and I upload there quite regularly, and those are things that only Patreon supporters have access to, including commercial-free editions of all of our podcast episodes. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, John, Paulette, Carlos, Mike P, Macho, Wesley, Nick, Rick, ActicFox, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, and thank you all. Your support is very, very much appreciated to all of our Patreon supporters. And I want to welcome our newest top Patreon supporter, George. All right, George, our newest Patreon.
Welcome, George.
Our newest top Patreon supporter, George. Welcome to the mix. So let us know, guys, what you all think about what President Trump said about Anheuser-Busch. Now, he said Anheuser-Busch, they got a lot of different beers, like Michelob's one of them. Okay, so let us know what you all think about that. All right, guys, we're out of time for today, but we will be back next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for listening. We will talk to you next time.